This is the Ponderous Brick Thinker with the Castle update, and the update is I'm going to work on sketches to help me figure out what the structure of the tower should be so that the vehicles can be attached to them. For the most part, I'm going to create a generic tower that can fit in these corners. So I did say there was going to be two in this corner, one, and then the one here and here, and then here and here. So that would be 12 in total. Maybe not this far extended. Maybe it will be kind of indicating that's the extent the vehicle might be out. But in terms of structure, I'm going to try and keep it similar so that I can use the same idea throughout, make it cohesive, but also helps me not having to figure out each tower independently. This one might be an issue though, since it is really projecting out from that corner. So I might have to figure out something special for that one. But overall, I'm going to try and keep it similar so that I can use the same solution in the other 10 locations, and let's see what happens with these two. To start, I'm going to create just a generic tower and go from there. Here is the sketch of the generic tower, an 8x8 area. So it is following the lines of how much space this is going to occupy. And after completing this, I am more than relieved because what I have here can fit in between there. And so this structure doesn't have to be filled out like a traditional medieval tower. I was also thinking along the launch pads of classic NASA, where it was more metal, gridiron, trusses, and so forth. And I can go along with that and have this be the tower and have these little ones off to the side that are just more structure than anything, and they're just meant to support the vehicles. And luckily, this vehicle does fit between those two 2x2 columns, and I'll use that because this is very convenient to hold this vehicle in place. And so now I need to figure out how to keep it up and, without having to fall out over and all that. And so that'll be the next step. So we have this option, and the only difference being instead of 2 wide, it's 1 wide, so that this can fit through here, but it's not snug, which explains the angle. I can try and push it in, but it's balanced. It's not fitted in there. If something comes wrong, it can do something unexpected. And that's the part where I want to avoid. The other thing is, so on the interior of the column or tower, it's these studs that are supporting right here. So that's what keeps it up on both sides. If I fit it in or push it in so that it's flush, there's a chance they can go further down. Not that it's nothing tragic about it, but it's just something unexpected could happen, which is not going to happen right now. But other options, let's see, if I do fit it on there, I have it here, it's just going to swing out. And I was thinking, okay, maybe having something here to kind of help it push. It can do that. It's ever so slightly at an angle off from the vertical, but it's much better, and it can come off and on more easily. So that means this I would probably try and cover up, just because this is the flame. It doesn't make sense. It's always going to be on. And so in that case, I think maybe trying to cover this up somehow. But overall, that's the idea. And then again, okay, is this correct? Because it's just a single column. does seem to be okay, but it's still balanced. It's not held yet. It's also hard to say because these are just columns. They're also wobbly. And however, I like this much better than trying to fight it to kind of make it snug. So let's see about a other option. Considering that this is not a normal construction, I figured if I add another layer of a plate, would that be enough? Is since it's exactly a brick, I was thinking maybe adding another plate would do it. This is the original one. Yeah, it would have been very snug, and as you can see, it's kind of not snug. So I thought, okay, what if that extra plate is a smooth plate? So that way it can hopefully fit in there. Maybe not. But it's experiencing the same issues as was just having a brick in there. So maybe that's not the best way to go about it. And another means has to be figured out in order for this to kind of fit in there. However, even though it's not sliding down, okay, so something was caught on. Maybe it was on this side that the corner was in place, something like that. And that's all that's needed to keep it snug. Maybe not perfectly on level, but relying on the brick and a plate is not the way to go. It's the same experience as with the original one. And so another option needs to be found. And let's consider Technic pieces. And this comes from working on the Tower of Immersion, where I was working on the pathways, where this is a slightly different size than the normal bricks, and just playing around with it, I put them side by side and they fit. There is some wiggle room, but it's not going to be a dramatic angle. If this is kept straight, it's the most it can do is 1 or 2 degrees, maybe not even 1. But that's much more preferable than what the other options have been doing. And I do have ways to hold it up. I don't know if I have enough of the same size, but that will be another thing. And then also just playing around with it. And this orientation also fits really well. It slides. It does not wiggle, and yet I don't understand how, but it's perfect. And it's the weirdest thing because it's 2 bricks with horizontal studs, a plate, and a brick. Plus, the wedges coming in, and it just results into that distance or length. And let's see, this, because a normal brick is too thick, but it's ever so slightly smaller than a brick. And I thought, wow, I have no idea why they decided on that, but it's really helpful. So I found the method of how to help this vehicle be attached to the tower. Okay, so continuing with the sketch, I attach these right here. It's so far it does work. The tower sketch is very wobbly. So I have to figure out what, okay. Okay, so continuing with the sketch of a tower, let's see, this would come in like that. And There we go. Granted, it's very wobbly, but that will be for the next episode to see if I can fine tune the design. I don't think I need pieces this long. It does cover up the flame, so I'm wondering, hopefully I do have enough of some color, but it does the job. And I did use the double wide spokes of the Technic because it pushes it on this line here. If I did a single, it'll be in the middle and that would throw it off. So this is another opportunity to see if I need to cover up for aesthetic reasons or find another use for them, but they're there available for more ideas. But that works. And it is resting. I don't need this brick because it would be resting on that brick right there, which also holds the spoke. So it's a lot more efficient. And thinking about it, I probably do not want it this long, at least up to here, so that way the mechanism for the ramp for the Lego people to get onto their share kind of needs to go around here. I might need room, so this will probably need to go lower. But overall, there's the basic idea of how the vehicle is going to attach to the tower. And I ran out of time, and I don't know if I'm even going to have time to release this on the scheduled date. But thank you for stopping by. If you liked the episode, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this project, go ahead and subscribe and sign up for notifications. And see you next time.